Picture this. Everyone at the party has ink. Sleeves, shoulders, ankles. And then there's you. Clean skin. And someone looks at you and says, "So you just never wanted one?" Like it's a confession. Like you owe an explanation for something you never did. Here's what nobody tells you. The people who go through their entire lives without a single tattoo are not boring. They are not afraid. They are not behind. Psychology suggests they actually share a very specific and surprisingly rare set of personality traits. And once you hear this, you will never see a blank canvas the same way again. Let's start with something that sounds counterintuitive. In a culture that celebrates self-expression through body art, the person who chooses not to participate is often making the loudest statement of all. Not out of rebellion, out of something deeper. Something researchers call identity stability. Most people get tattoos in their 20s. Studies on motivation behind body art consistently show that the number one reason people get tattooed is to mark an identity, to say to the world, "This is who I am right now." But here's the psychological catch. That need to externally declare your identity is actually strongest in people who are still searching for it. People who never get tattoos often already know who they are. They don't need the skin to hold the story because the story lives inside them. Psychologists call this a high internal locus of identity. Their sense of self doesn't depend on what others can see. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Research on impulse control and long-term thinking shows that people who consistently choose not to make permanent decisions score significantly higher on a trait called future orientation. They are not just thinking about who they are today. They are thinking about who they might become in 10, 20, 30 years. This is not fear of commitment. This is actually the opposite. It is a profound respect for the future version of themselves. They hold a future self in high regard, high enough to leave them options. Think about what it takes to sit in a world of constant pressure and say no thank you. Social pressure around tattoos is real. Studies in social psychology confirm that group conformity is one of the most powerful forces in human behavior. When everyone in your social circle has tattoos, the path of least resistance is to get one too. The person who quietly, calmly, without drama says this is not for me is demonstrating something rare. Psychologists call it autonomous self-regulation. The ability to make decisions based on internal values rather than external expectations. This trait is directly linked to lower anxiety, higher life satisfaction, and stronger relationships. Here is something almost nobody talks about. People who have never gotten a tattoo tend to score unusually high on a personality dimension called openness without impulsivity. This sounds like a contradiction, but it isn't. They are deeply curious, creative, and imaginative. But they process before they act. They feel the pull of an idea and then they sit with it. They let it breathe. They ask, is this still true in 6 months? This mental habit, this pause before permanence, is actually the same cognitive pattern found in exceptional decision makers, in surgeons, in architects, in people who build things meant to last. And then there is the sensory dimension. A subset of people who never get tattoos are what researchers call highly sensitive processors. Their nervous systems take in more information than average. They notice subtleties others miss. The texture of a room, the shift in someone's tone. For these individuals, the idea of permanent physical alteration carries a weight that goes beyond aesthetics. It is not squeamishness. It is a deep attunement to their own body as a living, changing, sensing instrument. Studies show highly sensitive people are disproportionately represented in creative fields, in therapy, in leadership roles that require reading people accurately. Their sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a precision tool. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable. Our culture has quietly decided that having tattoos means you are interesting. That clean skin means you played it safe. But psychology tells a completely different story. The trait most associated with getting tattoos is sensation seeking, the need for novelty, intensity, and new experiences. And sensation seeking, while exciting, also correlates with higher rates of impulsive decision making. People who never get tattoos are often deeply interesting in ways that don't advertise themselves. They tend to invest their identity inward rather than outward. Their interests run deep rather than wide. They are the person at the dinner table who has read everything about one subject. Who spent 3 years learning a single skill? Who remembers what you said 6 months ago? They do not need to wear their story. They are their story. Here's the final piece, and this one will stay with you. There is a psychological concept called narrative identity, the internal story you tell about who you are and where you are going. And research by psychologist Dan McAdams at Northwestern University shows that people with strong, coherent narrative identities have better mental health outcomes, stronger resilience, and greater sense of purpose. People who never get tattoos are often people whose narrative identity is so vivid and so complete internally that they simply have no need to write it on their body. The canvas is full. It's just invisible to everyone else. So the next time someone looks at your untattooed skin and says, "You just never wanted one," you can smile and know the truth. It was never about want. It was about knowing who you are without needing to prove it. About trusting that the most important things about a person cannot be seen at all. They can only be known. And that is not playing it safe. That is something rarer than any tattoo in any parlor anywhere in the world. If you found yourself in this story or want to explore more about how our passions shape our minds, subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments. What story does your soul tell? We will see you in the next video.